you have to remember, they're both young guys.
Yeah.
And Sam Prendergast, for me, is 22 years of age, and he's been under so much pressure. The world is talking about it, the country is talking about it. And I think Irish rugby, traditionally, when they have two really great 10s, it leads to a good period for us.
Can we have a word on Ireland? And actually, I'm going to start at the end. Andy Farrell said in the post-match interview, and God bless the journalist, Andy Farrell said that's one of the most chaotic games I've ever seen. And the journalist took that and repeated back and said, so you said it was shambolic. Can you tell? And he went, whoa, back right up. Said chaotic, which is very different to shambolic. He heaped the praise on his team for bravery and the courage and what he saw from them. Did you go along with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think, at 12 men against the Springboks and how good the Springboks can be, to be in that, to be scoring a try when you just go back up to 13, they showed some real fight. I think Irish teams in the past probably would have gone, we're done here. It's incredibly difficult when you have a red card early, and I think that was a huge moment and deserved. As in you can't say it wasn't. I think that some of those penalties, particularly the Crowley one, probably just a little bit of stupidity, but the build-up from just being under so much pressure and the perception, I think, on the field was you're playing against 16 because Matt Carley's doing his job. He's under an incredible amount of pressure, but everything's just going, and you're just going another penalty, and you're going backwards against the tide. I think that just desperation just gets in there, and you try and do something, and it's not the discipline that I think Andy Farrell would want. I think, yes, incredibly proud of the way they stuck at it and went at it, and maybe a try at the death would have made it a one-score game, which it shouldn't have been. But they showed some real fight, and I think that's you have to sort of pin your hat to something. You have to take a positive away.
Yeah.
That team won't be together again until Christmas, and then they're going into a big Six Nations. So you need to have something to take away. As I said, the best side on the day won. And I don't think the distance is that high. I think, they'll have to really fine-tune the scrum. But again, from a scrummaging side that actually has competed and probably been dominant in the Six Nations, maybe not dominant, but certainly probably more so on the favourable side of the penalty count in relation to front row penalties during the Six Nations. For that to happen, I think you'll have to look at it. You have to be better. And I think they will. I know John Fogarty, the scrum coach there, he'll be gutted with that performance. But it just has to be a little bit better, and you're kind of going to have to fine tune on that. So I get how chaotic it was. 130 minutes, decisions, cards, things not going your way. I think that's probably what Andy Farrell meant. I didn't actually hear him say that. So. But yeah, it was a bit of a circus, wasn't it?
It was. And it's probably an unfair question to ask when your forwards are having such a tough afternoon as Ireland's did. But there is going to be more discussion, questions around who wears 10. It was interesting watching actually Prendergast even in the anthems. You could almost sense that he thought this is the day that I've been given the keys and I've got to back it up, and everything around him then begins to creak a little bit. Do you stick with him because of what you know he can do and where he will get to, or does he need time to ease into it, and therefore you give Crowley, who's perhaps a bit older, maturer?
Yeah, look, again, you have to remember they're
now.
both young guys.
Yeah.
And Sam Prendergast, for me, is 22 years of age, and he's been under so much pressure. The world is talking about it, the country is talking about it. And I think Irish rugby, traditionally, when they have two really great 10s, it leads to a good period for us. You're looking at O'Gara and Humphreys, you're looking at O'Gara, Sexton. And so we need strength and depth. We know that. I think Crowley is an unbelievable player, and probably on form, potentially deserved the starting spot throughout the autumn. I think he's been good. Silly yellow card, but on the whole, he's been fantastic. Prendergast really impresses me when he has the ball, and when you have so many of his teammates from Leinster in the side, the way he moves the ball, his skill set, I think is he's just a class act. Those particularly early in the game when the South African wingers are playing a little bit high, and he's just able to throw that sort of 20-yard pass over the top to hit the man on the money on a couple of occasions. Behind a dominant pack, I think Sam is the man for the job because of that skill set. In a little bit of a grittier one, when it's maybe parity up front, I think Crowley could be the man for the job. But again, they both need to be there. And I just hate the fact that he's under pressure, and that we were even discussing it. For a young guy, it's a tough one to take.
It's a tough one when you don't have forwards to carry it, when you're making sort of reactionary decisions. When he's almost the director and concerto, conductor of the game, he's unstoppable.
I mean, I think what the problem is with, and maybe this is a non-hemisphere thing, or maybe this is Razzie who's shifted the game again in a little bit, is now we've got two 10s competing, and everyone is so used to, well, in Ireland now is used to one man. Sexton's our man. And what sort of South Africa have done shift, well, actually you can use three if you know how you're going to use them, where you're going to use them. And I
But
think
it helps when you've got the
and,
platform up
you
front
look
to,
well. You
to
look
be
at
able to,
you look at England now as well. That they've got 3 genuine guys they could use at 10 if they want to. You've just got to find. And
But
I
don't
think,
you think that's limiting for England? Like the debate
Well,
is
of
who's the
course-
number one, or
of
who's
course
the
the
captain,
debate
or
is
who's the whatever. I'm like, you got 3 amazing 10/15s.
And, but I think,
Isn't that better?
but I think it's also then what your results you get.
Okay,
So
okay.
you look at now we're 11 on the
Yeah,
bounce.
Ford
Everyone's
comes
going,
on and-
okay,
yeah.
yeah, Finn came in for that game. Yeah, I can understand why they've done that. So I suppose it is, and that's the same with South Africa. It is results dependent.
Yeah.
But I think you should be comfortable having that ability, and if you want to grow something, what we've just talked about with what South Africa has, you have to have that flexibility, especially at international, where you have numerous people who can do a job to give them
But
those
you know what I mean?
opportunities.
Like if the public say Marcus Smith, he's just on the bench.
Yeah.
I mean, if our perception is he's on the bench and look what we could unleash,
Yeah.
that's hugely
Yeah.
positive. Whereas the other
I
one is,
agree.
oh, shame he's number 2
Yeah.
yeah.
or number 3.
And I think we've got to get out of that mentality
Yeah,
now at
yeah.
international rugby.
I
'cause
think as well
we're now
for those
talking
10s.
about finishers.
we are talking about finishes.
But I think
Jones.
for
Well,
any,
knowing
for
that
any
well.
10 though, and you've probably played some games at 10. I've played games at 10. If your
Only
pack
one.
is dominant, it's a
Yeah, yeah.
positively
It's
wonderful
easy,
day.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
easy
touch
to play
rugby.
10. It's touch
Yeah,
rugby because you
yeah.
pack and you've always got the ability there just to dump something off. You look at Marcus Smith, who's probably not got that in the Premiership, and he's battling and he's still having these fantastic performances. If he's playing behind Bath's pack in the Premiership, like Finn Russell,
Yeah.
you're playing in a black tie and you're
Yeah,
not getting
that's
dirty and you're just
exactly right.
and
Champagne at half-time.
it's so enjoyable. So it's the I think it's the balance of when you're playing in a dominant. That's why Jack Crowley obviously is doing a very good job for Munster. So
Yeah.
You've been listening to The Good, Yay, The Bad, and The Rugby, Oof, with Alex Payne, James Haskell, and Mike Tyndall. Thanks for listening.